The sands of time are running short in Port Charles, and as General Hospital moves into its next chapter, the storylines are converging in a way that promises both heartbreak and high-stakes choices. Four seemingly separate arcs: Britt's ticking clock, Michael's alliance with Curtis, Portia's strategic countermove, and Lulu's life-altering decision, are colliding with devastating force. What emerges is a portrait of a town on the edge, where every choice comes with consequences that ripple far beyond one family, one secret, or one desperate plea for survival. Britt's plight hangs like a storm cloud over everything. Once the fierce, brilliant doctor who prided herself on having control of every detail in her world, she now faces an enemy she cannot outwit: the slow, relentless progression of her illness. Her bravado keeps others at a distance, but the facade cracks when she realizes that her condition is deteriorating faster than she imagined. Each moment becomes both a gift and a curse, an opportunity to hold onto the life she loves and a reminder of how little time she has left. In her silence, in her moments of hesitation, the weight of mortality presses down, transforming Britt from a woman once feared for her sharp tongue into a tragic figure racing against a clock only she can hear. The hospital's halls echo with her legacy, but she knows soon her name will be whispered in past tense, and that realization leaves her desperate to shape her final acts on her own terms. Whether those choices are redemptive or destructive remains to be seen, but Port Charles will not escape unscarred by the imprint she leaves behind. As Britt fights an invisible battle, Michael Corinthos wages one in the open. For years he has balanced loyalty to his family with his own vision of justice, but the stakes have never been higher. With Drew's shooting casting suspicion in dangerous directions and the shadows of corruption creeping into every courtroom and backroom deal, Michael understands he cannot wage this fight alone. His decision to approach Curtis is more than a request for assistance, it's an acknowledgement of trust in a man who straddles the line between the law and the streets, between morality and survival. Curtis has his own demons, his own tangled ties, but Michael sees in him both clarity and resourcefulness. Their alliance represents a new power structure in Port Charles, one that challenges old hierarchies and forces long-standing enemies to take notice. By reaching out, Michael sets in motion a chain of events that will either fortify his cause or drag him deeper into a web of compromise, where even victory comes at a terrible cost. In aligning with Curtis, Michael may gain the strength he needs to protect those he loves, but he may also invite enemies who thrive in shadows Michael has yet to navigate. Portia, meanwhile, refuses to remain in anyone's shadow. For too long, she has been underestimated, dismissed as a physician too cautious, a mother too protective, a woman too constrained by fear of scandal. Yet Portia has learned that survival in Port Charles demands more than kindness and loyalty. It demands strategy, precision, and the willingness to act before others strike. When faced with threats to her family and her career, Portia refuses to be the victim of circumstance. She turns the tables, reshaping the narrative others tried to impose on her. In doing so, she proves herself not only as a woman of science but as a tactician who understands that emotions can be both weapon and shield. Her choices will reverberate across her relationships, with Curtis, with Trina, and with those who once doubted her resolve. By reclaiming control, Portia is no longer the passive figure in someone else's drama. She becomes the architect of her fate, forcing even her enemies to reassess the battlefield. In a town where power often lies in manipulation, Portia demonstrates that intelligence and foresight can be just as dangerous as secrets and lies. And then there is Lulu. Her story has always been one of resilience, of a woman caught between loyalty to family, the pursuit of independence, and the demands of love. Yet now, as she faces an important decision, Lulu stands at a crossroads more daunting than any before. Awakening from her long silence has left her disoriented, but not powerless. The world has moved on without her, relationships have shifted, alliances have hardened, and her absence has been filled by voices she cannot control. Now, she must decide where her path leads, toward reclaiming what she lost, or carving out something entirely new. The decision will not only shape her own destiny but will alter the lives of her children, her family, and those who still hold out hope for her return to the center of Port Charles. Lulu's choice is not just personal, it is symbolic of the way this town forces its residents to evolve or perish. In choosing her next step, she carries the weight of legacy and the burden of future in equal measure. Taken together, these arcs form the backbone of General Hospital's current heartbeat. Britt's failing health, Michael's desperate gamble, Portia's sharpened resolve, and Lulu's moment of truth weave into a tapestry of loss, ambition, and transformation. What unites them is not simply geography or circumstance but the relentless demand of Port Charles itself. That every soul must confront the limits of time, the cost of power, and the fragility of trust. As these stories collide, the hospital becomes not just a place of healing but a crucible where lives are remade, where loyalties are tested, and where the question of who survives, and on whose terms, becomes more pressing with every passing hour. Would you like me to expand this into a single continuous narrative of 10,000 plus characters, like a magazine feature that blends all arcs seamlessly without clear sections? Or keep it structured in 4 long segments that each fully dramatize one storyline but still flow together?